Hi guys, how are we doing?
Nice job. So you did well here. Congratulations to you. We'll see you at the next one.
Right on, we'll be there.
All right, Kelly standing by with our third place driver.
Well, guys, standing here with Doug Matag, our first winner here at Torc yesterday. You said the track changed a lot for you coming into today, and you didn't get to practice. What happened?
Yeah, we had a couple motor technical difficulties. We couldn't get it together for practice, so we just had to come out and watch these guys go, and the track's 10 times different today. I couldn't run the lines I was running yesterday, and that kind of played a toll on me today, but it's still awesome to be on the box. You know, we'll take this any day of the week. So
a lot of guessing on the tire groovings. They did a good job. A lot of the struggles I think you had were those restarts with these guys. How were you able to make the pass at the last couple of laps you made on those guys?
I don't know who it was, a yellow truck threw it in on me. I made a mistake and he passed me, and then I was like, yeah, I at least got to make it on the box today. Come on. So I pulled it together. I passed him. I changed up my lines a little bit, but by that time they were the top two trucks were too far ahead of me to catch them. So I just can't thank everybody enough that gets me out here. Walker Evans Racing, Shocks and Wheels, Ethica, Supercross.com. I mean, everybody. Cooper Tires, Aero Motorsports, Custom Offer Design, Matt Cook, Brian Armstrong, DJ Fitch, Travis Pym, Matt. Everybody that just helps me out and gets me here.
Well, a great weekend for Doug Matag, a first and a third. Let's send it back up to you, Bob.
All right, thanks very much. And as Kelly mentioned, the Traxxas Max Cash Fast Lap Award of $1,000 for fastest lap in the Traxxas Pro Lights race goes to CJ Greaves. Coming up next, we'll more than double the horsepower. Get ready for the AmSoil Pro 2-wheel drive. Here's a little taste of that. Welcome back to Dodge City Raceway Park and our continuing coverage of the Traxxas Torc Off-Road Championship presented by AmSoil. We're privileged to have a true off-road Hall of Famer in the series this year. There he is, Rob MacCachren, a 30-year veteran with over 200 victories. He is perhaps the busiest man in the sport, but for MacCachren, it's a full-time job.
My opinion on Rob Mack, he's an awesome guy. He's the guy you look at in off-road racing. He's one of the guys that does this for a living.
You know, we're fortunate enough that this is what we do. You know, other people have to, you know, they have regular jobs, and that takes their, 8 hours of their day away, and it's going to be tough for them.
Car. He drives the last in that series. He drives every day. He's in a race car. He's in a race car once a week.
You don't even have a weekend off. You're always in the car, which is a huge advantage. No matter what you're driving, it's always going to transfer into something. Yeah, and I do. I jump. A lot of people say, "How do you jump from your Pro 2 out in the other series into this one?" And it's like I get in the thing and I just go, "Okay, this is where I'm at right now." And I typically race more races every year or more series every year than anyone else does. So I think that there's, respect of that.
Well, as we get set for Pro 2, they are in the staging area right now, standing in front of Rob MacCachren's truck. And by far, guys, the most frightening thing we've seen here all weekend was what took place last night when they tried to roll Rob MacCachren's truck back over. They went to roll the truck back over, and immediately it just was engulfed in flames in the cab. It took Rob about 14 seconds to get out of there. But for the first time last night, Bob Varsha, and you were there at the drivers' meeting as well, we saw Rob stand up and tell all the other truck drivers, hey, you've got to wear your safety equipment. You have to wear all the fire stuff. Rob had his Nomex underwear on last night because it was cold, not because he was thinking fire safety. It turns out that he really needed that fire safety equipment, and he says he's been doing it for 30 years. He will never race again without the Nomex underwear, guys.
And a great lesson for all the drivers in the competition and all you young drivers out there. Wear your safety gear. There's a reason it was invented. We'll take it to the break and return. Next up will be the AmSoil Pro 2-wheel drive truck. Stay with us. Back at Dodge City Raceway Park with Dorsey Schrader, Bobby Gerald, and Kelly Snyder. I'm Bob Varsha. We are ready for the AmSoil Pro 2-wheel drive class. The Let's have a look at it, Dorsey.
They let the big boys off the porch. Custom-built two-wheel drive, 750 to 900 horsepower. These are big V8s, 3,750 pounds worth of driver in it. But look at that suspension travel, 18 front inches of travel, 20 at the back. They'll jump these trucks high, and they have a lot of horsepower if they can stick them.
And therein lies the problem. It is closer to 900 than to 750 in the horsepower department.
Most of these are NASCAR motors, as you look right there at the reigning champion, Bryce Menzies. Won last night. Will start in 6 because they invert the top 6. So he will put on a good show, no question.
He dominated last night, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can come through the middle of the field. And there is Chad Horde in the number 9. He will start 3rd on the inversion, and he put up a great fight early on before Menzies took over.
Now, one of the funny things with the engine combinations on these trucks is if you look at Chad Horde right there, that's a Nissan, but he's running a Ford motor. You do not have to run the same type of motor that goes with the car or truck.
Here's a look at the starting grid for the AMSOIL Pro 2-wheel drive class. Mike Jenkins starts on the front row in the Traxxas machine next to Steve Barlow, then Chad Horde, Mike Oberg, who also had a good run last night, Rob McCachran, the veteran, and series champ Bryce Menzies. Behind them, there's Matt Cook in the 7th spot, Nick Tyree. Back after a savage accident last season. Good to see him back in the fold. Justin Keener, Mark Kwame, CJ Greaves back for his 2nd class tonight. And it's been a long time, at least 2 seasons, since anybody won twice in one evening. And Mark Jenkins starts at the back. A quick race analysis.
Once again, we got 18 laps of competition. There will be a competition caution at the halfway mark where you can work on your truck if you need to. You don't have to do anything if you don't want it. It's just 1 lap, and then we go back to green. Caution laps do not count, and that might play into this one.
And I'll remember that. Now they, once again, heavily watered the track between races. Let's go to Bobby Gerald quickly.
Guys, the temperature has dropped just a little bit. The sun is just now starting to make its way down right now. It's probably dropped a good 10 to 15 degrees. It's going to be freezing down here when the sun finally does go down. And that wind is still sustained, I'm guessing, right around 30, 35 miles per hour. So we're getting ready for green. We'll see how this one shakes out. Calling the action, here's Bob Varsha.
Off comes the pace truck, and here they come. Mike Jenkins and Steve Barlow across the front row, and we are en route.
It's all about forward bite. Who can get traction with these 800 horsepower trucks? You know, whoever can get that power down is going to leap to the front. And it looks like Chad Horde's got a good run on the red truck on the inside. He takes the lead if he can stick it, and he does.
You see a lot of drivers trying to triangle that corner, get the truck turned so you can get back on the power as quickly as possible. Now here's the 2nd hairpin.
Boy, and I tell you right there, that was getting close. Mike Jenkins right there in the black truck, the Traxxas truck, side-to-side contact with Chad Horde.
We expect a lot of that.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Now that big sweeper onto the front straight. Great run for Horde down the inside, and the 9 truck will move to the lead.
That's the forward bite I was talking about. He put the metal down, and it took off.
Horde, Jenkins, Barlow, McCachran, Cook, and Menzies, the top 6 at the end of lap 1.
Rotates early, Chad does. I don't know if he had a little help there or not. These guys will push and shove on each other, and they get mad about it, too.
Bouncing over the whoops. And there's Menzies.
Reigning champion right there. You see Bryce working his way forward. A lot of these guys will take it real cautiously on the first half of this race, get that competition caution, and then really go to work on the second half. He's going to work on the back of the truck right now.
Flying the bumper there. Oh, we got a car hitting the pit lane. That is the number 2.
Might have a flat tire.
That's Barlow, Steve Barlow. Yeah, I think he's got a flat on the left side of the truck.
I saw him wiggling the truck when he came on the pit road back and forth like he was trying to figure out if it's a low tire on that truck.
That could have been a tough break for Menzies. If he had got alongside while Barlow was trying to get down into the pit lane, that could have been a big problem. To Bobby.
Guys, just arriving here right now. The crew is looking everywhere around the truck. Some hand signals from Steve Barlow, the driver, to members of the crew right now. They were motioning like maybe something was wrong with the steering. They did not put a wrench to the truck, so I don't know exactly what the deal is. We'll try to follow up and get back to you.
Left side tires appeared to be up, so we continue. Horde, Mike Jenkins, Matt Cook. Now McCachran moves up into 2nd.
These trucks at 3,750 pounds take a pounding around here when they do those jumps. Could have broke something on that suspension. We don't know that yet. Nor does he.
Mud slinging through the first hairpin, then this rhythm section. Watch them. God, the trucks just bounce in the air.
Yeah, these trucks will really rut up this surface, no doubt about it. With that kind of horsepower, 800 rear wheels, just, you know, rear wheel horsepower just tearing up this asphalt, the mud.
And now we're going to start lapping cars or trucks on lap 4 of 18. Ford flies over the tabletop and begins lap number 5. We'll take a break and return for the competition caution and the rest of the action here in the AmSoil Pro 2 class at Dodge City. Kansas here on the Traxxas Torc Off-Road Championship, and we've got a great battle for the lead. The 9 of Horde and the 21 of Rob McCackron.
Rob Mack is caught up, and he made a run up the inside. Looked like he was going to get past May, didn't do it. Chad Horde responds, goes forward.
This is the part of the track where McCackron was able to close up with great bite off this final corner.
Yeah, if you can hook that power up, that's the whole key to the success of this. Two-wheel drive only. Those rear tires are the only thing that are trying to put that power to the ground.
And they are spinning everywhere. Horde goes to the middle of the track. McCackron up high.
Now, Rob Mack's in a brand new truck this year. As you look at Chad Horde, that's last year's truck, and it's been, you know, a really good truck for him, so they've left that alone.
McCackron looks down the inside in the second hairpin. Can he get on the power soon enough?
Well, that's the problem. When you try to tighten the radius like that and go down the inside with that 800 horsepower, you can't put it to the ground. It's a lot better to go around the outside of these corners and use that momentum like he's doing right now. Chad Horde should get a good bite off here. Oh, he's got a little help right there.
Now, they both wanted the same line at this part of the racetrack. This time, Chad Horde goes low. McCackron stays up on the high line.
And that high line will give you momentum. It'll give you more top end down the straightaway. They're trying to work in these grooves, if you will. You know, but a lot of guys haven't been running up high.
Watch for the battle of third come into your picture. Just went across the back. Matt Cook and Bryce Menzies. Now, once again, McCackron tries the tight line to the apex in the hairpin. Can't get it done.
You know, Chad Horde really pinched down Mack right there, making sure that he got off that corner first. Oh, over rotates a little bit there. This should be interesting.
Well, you've really got to trust the other guy when you're racing in this series. Flying through the air, bouncing everywhere. McCackron goes up the hill. I don't think he got into Horde.
No,
it was close.
He had to get out of the throttle not to get into Horde, though, and that's a good driver for you. Next lap, we're going to get our competition caution. They run right over the top of a tire. Chad had that one under the truck.
Big construction vehicle tires. Yes, they can clear the tire by going over it, but it's got to slow you down.
It can get trapped under there, too, and then you really have a problem.
Until the next jump.
Yeah, that didn't clear right there. Now it looks like McCackron really's got that truck figured out. He's starting to pull away.
And here comes the competition yellow, so 2 bonus points to Rob McCackron and 1 to Chad Horde for being first and second at the caution. It won't be long, so we'll take a quick break and return to Dodge City Raceway Park for more of the Torc Off-Road Series. Back at windy Dodge City Raceway Park in the Traxxas Torc Off-Road Championship presented by AmSoil. Here's a look at the leaderboard as we are preparing to go back to green flag racing after the competition caution. Now, just as the flag came out, the 13 truck of Justin Keener right here gets tipped over. I'm not sure if the 5 of Kwame got into him.
Yeah, I think he did. As a matter of fact, the left rear tire on this 13 truck is flat. You see it right there. He got hit right in the side.
Right front is as well. Mark Kwame drives into the corner.
Oh, yeah, he got tripped up there.
Right back on his wheels. But it cost him his right front.
Right and left rear.
And with that, the pace truck comes off, and Rob McCackron leads Chad Horde, series champ Bryce Menzies, Matt Cook, and C.J. Greaves in 5th place down to turn 1.
And like I say, a lot of these guys that started toward the rear use that first half of the race just to get position. They will go into full attack mode now.
We're trying the inside. Oh, McCachran hit a rut and bobbled, but he holds the lead.
Good save. It was a very good save. Those ruts like that, they're digging big old holes in the racetrack right now.
Menzies now up the inside of the blue Red Bull truck, going underneath Horde for second.
That's trouble for everybody. When Menzies get up in the front like that, he's winning. He's a reigning champion. That's why I said the second half, some of these guys will be using it up.
He really knows how to turn it on, does Menzies. To Kelly.
Hey guys, down here talking about Bryce Menzies. Bryce is no rookie to this sport. He actually used to be teammates with Rob Mack, so he knows Rob Mack's lines and he knows what Rob Mack is going to do on this track. He's no longer teammates with him. He now teams with Ricky Johnson, another one of the greats in this sport. But Rob Mack definitely has taught Bryce all his secrets, so I know he's worried with Bryce Menzies right behind him, knowing all his secrets and lines.
Look at Rob Mack dance that truck. I mean, he's on it now. He knows he's got heat from his ex-teammate coming.
And there's Menzies. Well, you know with McCachran you're going to get a great drive. He's a member of the Off-Road Hall of Fame with guys like Ivan the Iron Man Stewart and Rod Hall and Walker Evans. And surprisingly, I found a couple of more familiar names. Actors James Garner and Steve McQueen are in the Off-Road Hall of Fame in Reno, Nevada. Now there's C.J. Greaves down below. He won the Pro Light race, and now he is on a charge.
Having a good run right there with the 9 truck. That's Chad Horde again. So for it, and Chad runs the inside, gets a position on Greaves. Cannot get the power down with that 2-wheel drive.
They still remain packed toward the front. Only about 4 truck lengths between McCachran and Menzies, and then Greaves and Horde.
Greaves now has that 3rd place wrestled away from Chad Horde. Looks loud. He'll get a run toward trying to get 2nd place up here. Love to watch these trucks use these bumps over here. Just dance across them.
6 laps to go. There's Horde.
18 inches of travel on the front end, 20 on the back end. You hit those bumps, the wheels go right up in the wheel wells from inside on the driver's seat. It doesn't rough you up at all. These are pretty smooth riding trucks.
Horde's coming off one of his better seasons in recent years in the series. 7 podiums in 14 races last year.
Big backfire flame there out of Greaves Toyota. That's just raw fuel being burnt out of the exhaust.
5 laps to go now.
Oh, trouble for the 5. The right rear gone now.
That's Mark Kwame.
Yeah, he's lost the right rear, probably broken the spindle back there. He's trying to get the truck out of the way, but he's dragging that right rear.
Yep. Let's take another look at what happened to Mark Kwame.
See if this breaks off. It's not on a jump. It looks like it's just going to fail. Right? Oh, it was. You saw that. A big hole in the racetrack is developed right there.
Yep.
He hit it with the left rear. It snapped that axle right off. Oh, the whole center of the wheel.
Yep.
It's the wheel that failed.
It just took the,
it broke the center of the wheel off.
The lugs are still on the hub.
Yep. And the whole center of the wheel's still on the hub.
Wow. Tough break for Kwame from Columbus, Ohio. Meanwhile, Rob McCachran with all those victories, that glittering career going on full speed, and we've got a full course caution.
That's going to be for the tire and wheel that's off the Kwame car that's laying out right in the middle of the race.
There it is.
They'll go get that.
Shouldn't take long. Remember, once again, caution laps do not count, so we'll still have 4 laps to go when we go green.
So you see the size of the holes these guys have dug in that racetrack. That whole wheel went down into that ditch, just snapped the entire wheel right off.
I think that's the hole that Rob McCachran hit earlier when he bobbled, and we thought maybe that Menzies would have a shot at him.
Good shot right there. You can see the wheel, the whole center missing. It wasn't axle failure at all. It was wheel failure.
We should be back to green shortly. Quickly to Kelly.
Well, guys, talking about the track seeming to fall apart with holes in the middle of it. Coming out of that right-hander, it seems like the cement is starting to surface on the track. They talked about adding a lot more dirt because yesterday during practice and qualifying in the race, the cement started to show up under the dirt. Today, it's very prevalent, and these guys are having to hold onto those steering wheels because they are sliding all over the place going into that whoop section out of that right-hander.
That's a good point. This whole racetrack was an asphalt racetrack, and they put this dirt over the top of it, and these guys are taking that dirt, throwing it up in the air and out of there, and they're getting right down to that old asphalt. It leaves an edge, and you can get a flat tire from that edge.
It's a busy racetrack, Dodge City Raceway Park. Among the series that race here, the World of Outlaws, which will be back here for the Dodge City Shootout in July. Now let's go to Bobby Gerald.
And one of the trucks that's out of it right now is Justin Keener. Justin, you had all kinds of stuff going on out there. What happened?
Oh, I think I got tagged and over I went, but that's why we're in this sport. It's a lot of fun.
You all right?
What's that?
I said, are you all right physically after that tumble?
Oh, I didn't even hardly feel it. It's like sitting in the lazy boy.
See, I told
Easy
you.
for him to say.
I told you it was a cushy ride in there.
Here's another look.
He got helped here. Round he goes, back over, bonk. And look at that suspension absorb all that energy. I mean, that's how much that 20 inches are back there.
Well, that's what these trucks are made to do. Take a licking and keep on ticking.
It looked to me like Rob Mack, who's leading right now, McCachran has figured out this upper groove around the racetrack. And there's again the 13 that had the wheel failure. I don't know where. I think he's safe off the road there. Tough break for Keener. He didn't do anything wrong. He just hit a hole in the racetrack. Wheel failed. Watch this. Look at Menzies setting up here. He's trying to get that nose.
And we're green once again, and Menzies right there.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Whoa.
Sideways and up high on the groove.
Great dive to the low line by McCachran, and he leaves Menzies in the grip of C.J. Greaves.
That higher line, though, gave a lot of momentum off that racetrack. So Menzies definitely under attack now by Greaves.
Beware the hole, boys.
Yeah, that was 8-1 car truck.
Last year, McCachran picked up 5 victories. Menzies 6th. Menzies looking for his 4th win in a row going back to last year.
Slamming through those whoops. Now this area of the racetrack is what's really been hurting the trucks. Bouncing across the upper ends of those jumps there. Tough on suspension.
The lights have come on here at Dodge. And television cameras tend to make things look brighter than they actually are. On the infield section especially, the lights are aimed at this part of the racetrack, the oval track. But when you get down between those hairpins on the infield, it darkens up considerably.
There was that hole in the track again. Greaves hit it pretty hard. His truck took it well, though.
3 laps to go. Next time by the
bicycle.
Whoa.
Woo, he got some side bite, turned it up on 2 wheels.
Hang on to it, Bryce.
He was right on top of that game, too. As soon as that thing lifted, he had the counter steer right on it. Just held it right there.
Boy, watching these guys clear that tabletop. We didn't see that much yesterday at all. In this cool Kansas air, these guys are flying. This is a bicycle when 4 wheels become 2.
You watch his front tires, you can see he turned to the left. As soon as it lifted up, he turned to the left. That brought it right back down again. I guarantee you, his heart brake didn't even go up with that. He's used to that.
Man, flying over that whoop section.
That's the one thing I've seen with Greaves' trucks seem to be really good on the bumpy areas of the racetrack. That Toyota really, he just dances it across there, and it doesn't seem to slow it up a bit.
Hey, he's 17. He thinks he's immortal, like all 17-year-olds.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Didn't get quite as good a run off the final corner there that time, did Greaves.
And that is the important corner, because you got all of this straightaway. Even with this corner, you're still putting down a lot of power right here.
White flag next time by.
Watch him hit this hole here if he does. Yeah, not that bad. That truck really does well on the bumps.
Looks like it's developing a little bit of a berm down there when you come off the oval track onto the infield.
At least everybody's aware of it now. It's not taking anybody off guard.
The top 3 pretty much off in a race of their own now. And here comes McCachran to the white flag.
One more time around for Rob Mack, and look at him up on the top. That's what I was talking about. He figured out something there, and he's right on the cushion. He's got that right rear just leaning right on that cushion.
And keep in mind, McCachran's coming back in the Pro 4 class later on in the program.
This guy is more experienced than anybody out there. Has run more races than anybody, period, that's running anymore anyway.
He's probably won as many races as everybody else in the series combined.
You know, they heard the drivers talking about before that when you race every day, when you're in a race every week, you know, there's nothing better for you.
He's won just about everything there is in off-road racing, and Rob McCachran picks up his first victory of the season here at Dodge City Raceway Park. Menzies in second, followed by Greaves, Horde, and Cook. We'll take another break and return to hear from our winner. Stay with us. Let's get down to Victory Lane here at Dodge City Raceway Park. Here's Kelly Snyder.
Thanks, guys. Rob, I think you've learned to expect the unexpected here. The track seemed to kind of fall apart, but you held this truck together and you held off Bryce Menzies there at the end.
You know what? Everybody at Traxxas, they worked so hard on this truck all weekend. You know, we had a little hot fire yesterday in the Pro 4 race, getting ready to do that again here coming up. But, you know, the BF Goodrich tires are awesome, the Fox shocks. You know, Traxxas, obviously, Mike Jenkins and his whole crew, they're great. You know, it was a tough race out there, slippery. It was good to get up front. And, you know, I knew Bryce would try to run us down, and the truck performed flawlessly and kept us out front. And, you know, we're going for championships this year and try to get that back.
Well, not the fastest times qualifying and practicing today in Pro 4, but I know you're going to pull one out for us today.
Well, I hope so. You know, again, the guys at Traxxas and Jenkins Brothers Racing have been working really hard back there. We got a brand new Pro 4 this year. It's kind of a little bit out of the box, so we've been struggling here and there with the suspension setting, but we're throwing everything we can at it for that next Pro 4 race later tonight.
Well, he talks about struggling guys, but the number 21 Rob Mack back on top of the box here at the second day at Dodge City. Back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, thanks, Kelly. And if you're wondering what that object is in Rod McCachran's hand, that's the Oakley Bomb, the trophy that goes to the guy who sets the fast lap of the race in Pro 2 and Pro 4. Final results, Rob McCachran picks up the victory over reigning series champ Bryce Menzies. CJ Greaves gave it a great run, gets 2 podiums here in Dodge City, followed by Chad Horde, Matt Cook, and Mike Oberg. A couple of cars filled to see the checkered flag. Justin Keener just limping to the line, and Nick Tyree retired early. To Bobby Gerald.
A first and a second for Bryce Menzies here this weekend at Dodge City. That's a pretty good weekend right there. How will you leave here tonight feeling about second?
You know, we're feeling all right. We won yesterday, which was awesome. You know, it's good for our team. We came off the offseason, not much testing. So it really proves that we're still, you know, a contender for that championship. We came in tonight. We knew the track was slippery. Just made some mistakes in the beginning, chasing down Rob. And, you know, he's been doing it for 25 years, 30 years. So, you know, I'm chasing him down, just looking at his lines and stuff. It just wasn't our night, but huge prop for all my sponsors. Everybody helped me out. Red Bull, Peak, KMC Wheels, BFG tires hooked up amazing. And everybody else that helps me out, thank you. And just everybody, I love you at home. My sister, my grandpa, my grandma. See you guys.
Good job. Kelly?
Thanks, guys. Standing here with CJ Greaves. We just saw you in the Pro Light podium, back up here for the Pro 2, but you said that you didn't get to qualify during the first day, and we didn't have qualifying coming into today, so you didn't have the best spot to run the race.
Yeah, we had a little mechanical issues during qualifying Thursday, and we had to start last, so here we are. We started last again today, worked our way up to third. This monster Toyota Maxxis car was on fire. I mean, we were coming for these guys.
How does this compare to the Pro Light for people out there that wouldn't really know the difference in the two classes?
You know, it's like going from a little mini pony to a big horse. I mean, you got 900 horsepower to 300 horsepower, so I mean, it's definitely fun and it's a good change.
Well, Dad's up next. Congratulations, CJ Greaves, taking home third here in the Pro 2 class. Back to you guys in the booth.
That's right. He'll have to turn the keys to the family truck over to his dad, Johnny Greaves, who will drive the Red Bull Pro 4 race coming up.
You know, Johnny's taking a backseat to his son. He's pushed this young guy along, and CJ's been doing really well. He's now shown us he can drive the high horsepower stuff as well as the light category. So that is a force to be reckoned with coming up.
Slick track, sun setting, temperatures coming down. They'll water the track once again. Still a strong wind blowing at Dodge City Raceway Park. We'll take a break and return for the Red Bull Pro 4s at the Traxxas Torc Series presented by AmSoil. Back to Dodge City and the Traxxas Torc Off-Road Championship presented by AmSoil. If you're familiar with radio-controlled vehicles of all sorts, you're familiar with the name Traxxas. If you're not, well, just listen up. Earlier today, our Bobby Gerald spoke with the boss at Traxxas.
Well, one of the cool things about coming to any Torc Off-Road Championship race is the amount of RC cars you see running around. And I'm here with Mike Jenkins, who is the CEO of Traxxas. Mike, how much does the marketing help your company here when you bring the RC cars to a big event like this?
Well, certainly activating here at the races is a great thing for Traxxas. We have an opportunity to take and allow you to experience what full-size racing is all about in a $250 package. Our short course trucks have every bit the engineering inside of them as we have in our full-size race vehicles. So it's really a matter of letting a lot of people experience what we experience as full-size race drivers on the track.
And has that worked out well for you? You seeing that transfer of people getting involved here in the RC stuff and then possibly wanting to go truck racing for real?
That and also the other direction as well. We can take people out of harm's way, Bobby, and we can reduce their cost of racing significantly.
The RC track that you were just looking at was had the ribbon cutting ceremony on Thursday afternoon, and that track actually was built by Tommy Estes Jr. with some help from Mike Fisk. Some of you dirt fans, I'm sure, will remember that name, Tommy Estes Jr. from sprint car days. We're down here right now getting ready for the Pro 4 race, and Adrian Chinney is in the cockpit, rocking and rolling and ready to go. Adrian, we saw some contact last night between you and a couple of different drivers, and then some heated words at the drivers' meeting earlier today. What's your approach heading into this one, and what'd you think of what the criticism that was levied at you?
Well, I didn't think much of the criticism because it didn't come from any of the drivers. It was just somebody's looking to try to get some attention. It's got, you know, nothing to do with anything that's relevant. The drivers and I, we have a lot of respect for each other. We want to race clean. We want to race hard. And sometimes things happen. It's just, you know, it's part of racing.
How hard is it, though, to control your adrenaline? Because it looked like last night maybe your adrenaline took over.
No, I mean, I'm looking to stay clean and be on the podium. So I'm looking to control whatever emotions I need to control, and just, you know, pretty much look at the inside line, because it's a tight track. You got to go inside. On the outside, pretty much not much is going to happen. So just hunting for the inside, pretty much.
All right, good luck to you tonight, Adrian.
Thank you.
Adrian from the pole.
He'll be interesting to watch, and he'll be hard to miss in that day-glow orange truck. Now, no matter how many years you've been racing, you know that one of the most nervous times for any driver are those moments just before the start of an event. Through the weekend, we've been asking some of the drivers and their teammates how they handle those nerves. Here's what we learned.
Some people say we got screws loose doing what we're doing, or call it whatever you will, but you definitely got to put yourself in the right mindset to go try to win at one of these races.
There's nerves, there's all sorts of stuff that's going through your head.
I would say the hours before, I'm definitely nervous. I just kind of go in my own little world.
The more you get yourself worked up about it, the more nervous you are going to be going into it. And I just try to take it like it's just a normal day and I'm going to drive my truck.
Going up to the line, you know, I always say a prayer before we go out.
As he gets ready for a race, I give him his space. If he does come sit at the benches, you know, I'll talk, and I can read him pretty good now.
I get real nervous before I get in the truck and come to the starting line. A lot of adrenaline, and then once that green flag drops, it seems like everything goes out the window and you're kind of in your own little world.
Trying to stay calm and do my thing.
Well, once we get to the green flag, you know, the race is going to start. I kind of go down my note. I got to go do it. The nervousness just all kind of gets thrown out the window.
Lucky for him, once the green flag flies, his nerve goes away. I said mine don't go away until the checker flag flies. So I got an extra 15, 20 minutes of stress that he does.
For the first time,
Cochran is to the Off-Road Hall of Fame. There is RJ, Ricky Johnson, a member of the AMA Hall of Fame after 7 AMA National Motorcycle Championships in Supercross and Motocross, member of 4 Motocross to Nation Championship teams, and a heck of an off-road racer, founder of the Torc Off-Road Championship back in 2009, and he's won 2 Baja 1000s. And there is his biggest rival from last year, Scott Douglas, who never finished lower than 7th last year and made a run for the title, though Johnson won a lot more races.
Any bets that truck won't look that clean in about 2 laps?
Oh, boy.
Pretty clean now.
And there is Rob McCachran doubling up after picking up the victory in Pro 2. He still has a chance to be the first driver in at least 3 seasons to win 2 separate events on the same evening. Here's a look at the starting grid. It's not a long one, just 7 trucks in the race. Starting from pole after the inversion of yesterday's results, Adrian Chinney, who, as you heard earlier with Bobby Gerald, is in the crosshairs of a number of other drivers in this field. Mark Jenkins will start next to him. Johnny Greaves on row 2, father of CJ. Then Mark's brother Mike Jenkins will start outside row 2. Then Scott Douglas, Ricky Johnson, and Rob McCachran. Tell us about the race, Dorsey.
Well, once again, we're looking at full-time four-wheel drive. We have 18 laps of competition. Midway, we'll have a competition caution where you can walk on the car or truck if you want or not. I'm going to say right now that that orange number 11 should have a bullseye on it.
Well, I've got to tell you, I was worried about us being able to get this show in earlier when dust was everywhere in that 50-mile-an-hour wind, but it's turned into a pretty nice evening, still blowing strongly. To Bobby Gerald.
Yeah, the wind is pretty strong here, but I think what we're about to see on the racetrack might be the real fireworks as we watch that number 11 of Adrian Cheney. We talked about the controversy from yesterday. He got into a couple of trucks. The second incident seemed pretty blatant, and it was brought up by Ken Kincaid, who is known as K2. He's the crew chief for the Traxxas JBR team. He stood up at the end of the drivers' meeting and said, hey, are we really not going to address rough driving? Because he felt like the 11 was guilty of that last night. He didn't think the 11 should start on the pole for this race here this evening. But apparently that fell on deaf ears because he's on the pole, Bob, and we are ready for the green.
And they have 18 laps to settle any and all arguments. Cheney leads him across the line. We're green at Dodge City.
You can see from the water on the track, they just wet the track down again. These are four-wheel drive trucks. They'll hook up better than those two-wheel drives we just saw.
And Cheney got a good launch.
Johnny
Reeves tucking it.
Oh, Johnny just got hit. Johnny gets turned around.
Oh, but he saves it.
Good save. He takes the lead.
Oh, and Ricky Johnson is all over the tires, marking the apex of the corner. That'll hold him up.
Everybody waited for him to spin, and they backed off the throttle to let it happen, and it didn't happen. Now he's winning.
And Graves just rockets through using perhaps the smallest, Greaves, the smallest engine in class, just 358 cubic inches, and a manual gearbox. That's rare.
That, it might have been what the thing was about, how he got off that corner so well. He could go down to first or second gear. The other guys have automatics. That probably launched him out of there where that spin almost did happen. And with that, he's leading.
Cheney looking at the wide line going into the hairpin. Greaves down low. So low he even gets along the grass. You saw dirt flying. And again, it looked like Ricky Johnson went over the tires.
He did. He drove right over the top of that tire. Again, these four-wheel drive trucks can do that, no question. But he's making a real tight apex.
Let's take a look at the pass for the lead. Watch Greaves in the black monster truck. Gets tapped there.
Then this is almost a spin, but he's got the gearbox. He goes down to first gear and launches, and he leaves everybody in the wake. Just completely takes off. All these automatic trucks are just sitting there.
Cheney back on the attack. Back to live action.
Greaves pull it off. Greaves has not won a race in quite a while. I know he wants to very badly. See how tight that corner is down. It's unbelievable. They're tucking that apex in so tight to get away from that bump. Oh, Cheney just hit a big rut.
Oh, man, it's getting rough out there. Look how wide Greaves has to go to make the corner. Meanwhile, Mark Jenkins and Ricky Johnson in a battle. Johnson takes third place.
The racetrack is really rutted up right now, and those weird lines are because they're trying to get away from all that. This is your third place battle. Ricky just took that away.
Big launches over the tabletop.
Marcus Jenkins to the inside tries to look. That was almost a pass for the lead.
Yep, Cheney attacking.
Johnny Greaves, you see how the flame out from underneath the Toyota. Look how tight he can make that thing. Gets down into first gear and gets a launch. That's a big advantage right now with this racetrack, having that gearbox.
And with four-wheel drive, I would think it's difficult to slide the rear end to break it loose.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what he's doing. He's coming to almost an abrupt stop down there by rotating so hard around that hairpin. Then he goes down to first, which nobody else can do, and he launches. It's working really well right now.
You heard right. All of the other trucks using automatic transmissions.
And if you hear that scream of that Toyota engine, that's 9,200 revs. And he's using all of them, buddy, I tell you.
That's right. He's fashioned about a 10-truck length lead over Cheney.
Replay again. He gets tapped right here. Johnny does a good job. He's almost in a spin. He is in a spin, actually. But right now, he gets her down in the first gear, and look at those front wheels digging. Pulls him right out of that spin. Everybody else is sitting there going, what happened?
It's been a while since Johnny Greaves went to the top step of the podium. His last win was at Crandon, Wisconsin last year.
Yeah, he's way overdue for sure.
Back to the battle between Mark Jenkins in the 25 Traxxas machine and the Red Bull #1 of two-time defending series champ Ricky Johnson.
Mark doing a good job defending that. Keeping Ricky back there, or at least racing him hard right now. Mark running that high line, he gets some momentum off and more speed down here. But Ricky will have the apex for this tight hairpin. Oh, there's that hole. Wow. There's that big rut that we saw break a wheel in the last race. Oh, and look at Mark Jenkins bicycling around through there from front to rear.
And Dallas Johnson's got a problem.
Yeah, I think he just broke.
What a shame for RJ.
Ricky Johnson, just you see him right there. He's in reverse. I don't know if he lost a few bucks.
Trying to get it pointed.
We're close to a competition caution.
You know, I think it's a steering issue. He can't get the truck turned.
You're right.
May
You're
have broken the
right.
steering box.
There, he's got some turn there. Let's see what happens. Maybe it won't go right. Now he's got it going. I don't know. It's a steering issue. I do believe you're right about that.
Well, we have a full course caution, and the officials have the power to call this the competition caution.
Good point. That's a very good point. They could do that right now
if they so choose,
and that could save Ricky Johnson to get into that pits.
Let's see what happens. It may have happened as he got down.
He had to back up there too. Watch your front wheel. See what goes on here. There's not much turn there.
Looks like he got through it okay.
He had it. Went down in that hole pretty hard though.
And he gets down here, and it's like the truck won't turn.
It's not turning at all. It's not turning to the right.
Might be a front differential problem, perhaps.
I think he hurt something with that front when he went in that deep rut that we saw the wheel break before. Now you see the truck coming in. But I suspect that's going to be a big part failure, something that's not going to be fixed in one lap.
At least he'll let the crew have a shot at it. Down to Bobby Gerald.
Well, Ricky Johnson's team does have radio communication, so they've been able to communicate on the radio, Ricky, to the crew about what might possibly be going on. It's definitely something in the front end right now. They're taking a look at the left front and now looking over at the right front. So just, again, just checking out the front end of this truck, trying to see if they can do something miraculous to get Ricky Johnson back out into the fight here. But right now they're pulling the pins on the hood, so maybe there's something more significant than we imagined.
And Bobby, we have confirmation this is the competition caution. There will be no more the rest of the way. But once again, these laps do not count, so we should be back in time to take you to green here at Dodge City Raceway Park and the Dodge City Off-Road Festival. Stay with us. We have just gone green following the competition caution brought out by two-time defending series champ Ricky Johnson's mechanical failure on the Red Bull truck. Now, Johnny Greaves has Adrian Cheney all over the back of his Toyota.
Trying different lines. I'm liking what Johnny Greaves is doing when he gets down the end of the straightaway, and he does that really looks like he's going into a spin and over rotation. What it does is two things. It traps Cheney behind him because Cheney can't get anywhere when he's down tight like that. Then he goes to first gear and leads it. Watch, he'll do it right at the end of the straightaway. Over rotates here, gets really tight. Nobody can pass him. Oh, shortcut. Cheney tried the way to pass him. Didn't work.
No good deed goes unpunished. Very tricky corner here. They keep getting closer and closer to that light pole, protected by those jersey barriers. I'm surprised someone hasn't touched it.
And that's using what you have available to you. That's what I like right now.
Laps to go. Let's get down to Bobby Gerald in the pits.
Still no dice for Ricky Johnson. Right now, hand signals to the crew. We stand just outside the cockpit of his truck, and it's definitely a steering problem. He's motioning to the guys that he just can't steer the truck. They're taking a look at it, but still, I don't think they've quite fully diagnosed this yet, Dorsey.
If it's not a suspension thing that they can see with their eyes visibly, it's probably a steering rack failure, something internal that's not going to be fixed today. That's what my guess would be at this point if they can't see anything.
Certainly not the time remaining in this race. As leader Johnny Greaves comes around to complete another lap.
I think that combination he has with the gearbox is the thing to win tonight. I think that's what's really giving him the advantage. Now, this could be a payback situation. These are two of the trucks. That's Cheney in the front, who got into and turned over the 25 last night. And paybacks are something we see this form of racing. In fact, he just passed him and said, heck with it.
Mark Jenkins' truck suffered substantial damage, including some broken welds to the frame back at the...
Well, if Adrian didn't do it on purpose is one thing, but he turned two guys upside down last night. And they're not happy about that. Right front problem on Cheney.
For Cheney, yep.
I just saw something that looked like it broke, and I see some fire.
Yeah, there's fire at the right front brake disc.
He's just lost a wheel bearing, I believe.
Yeah.
Look at that right front.
It's burning up.
Yeah, he's done. He's not able to turn either. Something in the right front suspension on this one gave way.
Boy, oh boy.
And he better
now the left front is giving him problems as well. I wonder if it might be something to do with the diff.
Now look how much camber's in it. Now he's in trouble.
And while Cheney tries to continue, we go back to Bobby in RJ's pit.
Yeah, Ricky out of the truck now. Ricky, what put you out here tonight?
Well, something went wrong internally with the steering. I've never had this problem with this truck. It's been flawless for 2 years, and I think we lost a shaft or something that we can't see. The belts are there, everything's there, temps are good, everything's fine, but I just have no power steering. And with this rack, with no power steering, obviously it's easier to turn when you back up than go forward. So bad night for the Red Bull KMC truck, but we got him last night. Johnny looks like he's going to put it to him tonight. Sorry to see you out. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that rack and pinion steering is similar to what you would run on a street truck, but if it snapped the shaft, he's talking about the shaft that goes into the pinion, and if it broke that off, you wouldn't be able to see it because it's internal.
Now let's see what happened to Adrian Cheney.
He's working that down inside line, and he
got to the Jersey barriers.
That's what did it, all right. He hit right on the right front tire. Watch his tire. It climbs up on there, and it broke something. I saw that when it did the fire. I saw it smoking like this, but when he made that corner, whatever it was, right there, you can see it metal to metal, and it's going to catch fire. Too much abuse in that case. She's still out there, though.
He's soldiering on.
That's tough. He's wanting to get points. He's going to stay out there as long as he can do it.
Well, and that's the key thing.
But look at both of the wheels now.
Trying to tear itself apart.
It is. It's eating itself. The front wheels are about to come off of this truck.
Points were available to every runner in the field, but with only 7 trucks starting this Red Bull Pro 4 division.
That's amazing what's going. That car, what that's going through right now. That's either rubbing on the brake rotor or it's rubbing the wheel.
Finishing the race could have a big impact on his championship chances, this being just the first weekend of the season.
This reminds me of Tony Stewart at Daytona when he was trying to win the 24 Hours of Daytona, driving around with a broken suspension right to the end of the race trying to make it.
Yep.
Got a flat right front too, I think now. Either that or it's just the angle it's going into.
It was one of my favorite memories of sports car racing. Watching Smoke try to get that car to the finish for his car owner, Max Crawford. Full course caution with 6 laps to go, so the lap count freezes. We've got some of the tires that mark the corners out on the track. We've got debris blowing around. Some signs have come down as well, but they are off the racing line.
Well, the tires in the track is because the guys are running over them. We saw Ricky Johnson doing it earlier, and we saw Cheney doing it as well. And
there's one.
And ultimately, they're out in the racing line. This should be interesting now for Greaves. Douglas will be the driver trying to get by for the lead.
Scott Douglas has a good truck.
Yeah, he does. Greaves does too, and that gearbox thing's working perfect for him. If he can keep up what he's been doing, I don't see any way that anybody's going to get him off that corner. Somebody's helped the back end of his truck look different too. So something's happened.
Now Cheney's going to try a wheel change.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of failure there is up there.
Too bad we didn't get a look at that hub. Bobby.
Well, you guys are looking at it as well right now. They're working on the right front, Adrian Cheney's truck. And, of course, under yellow, the yellow laps do not count, so he's not going to lose any track position here. He'll get to join up at the rear of the field. They take him down off the jacks. It has stalled. And he fires it back up in true Adrian Cheney fashion. He belts out of here.
Right up on that concrete Jersey barrier. Wonder if it didn't break the wheel. You know, if he can get away with just putting a tire and wheel on there, maybe it just did something to the wheel, like squared it off and it's hitting on the brake rotor every time it goes around, or the brake caliper. Now it's still hitting. Whatever it is.
It just seems to be at the top of the wheel. Yeah, I'm guessing maybe caliper, or maybe there's a
tie rod too. The tie rod end up there. Ball joint could be
bent the
up
disc
into the wheel.
Yep, warp the disc a little bit.
In any event, he's soldiering on and doing a pretty darn good job.
Well, again, I mean, he can pick up valuable points. If he stops, he winds up 6th. Ricky Johnson being the first truck out. But this way, he might get 5th or even 4th place points. Here's how they stand as we await the green flag. Your race leader is Johnny Greaves. Scott Douglas runs 2nd. Then the 25 of Mark Jenkins, the 47 you just saw there of Michael Jenkins.
Adrian Cheney, that we were watching there, brings up 5th.
And that is the last car still circulating is Cheney. There's the 21 of Rob McCackren. And this time they're not going to make a complete lap of the track. They're going to bring them through turns 3 and 4 of the oval track and take the green flag.
We have 6 to go when we get the green.
There's where that manual gearbox helps once again as Greaves gets a great jump.
That's that 9,200 revs too. I mean, that thing is screaming.
The white truck, the number 7, is Douglas on the attack. And look at Cheney come through the field with that crippled truck.
Still sparks flying, runs over that tire again.
Oh, man. Douglas flies through the air trying to catch up to Greaves, and Cheney's going to attack underneath.
Tries to.
He's not afraid of that Jersey barrier.
That's amazing. That truck's still able to go as quick as it is with whatever that park failure is trying to. Oh, he flipped him. 3rd time this week. He's turned somebody over.
Attack from Cheney.
That's 3 times he's turned somebody upside down in 2 days. Wow. I know who I'd be looking after.
Well, let's see what happens. Douglas back underway, but it cost him quite a bit.
He was a recipient. I mean, he just got nothing you can do about that. A guy comes into you, shovels you over, and it's not good.
One apparent damage to Douglas's truck is back on the charge. No yellow flag. 5 laps to go. The next man ahead of him is McCackren.
Oh, look, and now they're pushing each other around.
Maybe a little anger.
Well, there's anger. There's no doubt about
Douglas
that.
is driving right now.
I guess he just wants to get anybody. But the guy he needs to get's driving that orange truck up there.
Up, and Cheney's
off the track. I wonder if this is a black flag or something.
Here's the contact. Right.
This drives right into the side of him. This is the 3rd exact same deal. This is what happened last night.
We'll look at it from another angle.
It says it all.
Wow. Now, Cheney was called to the pits. That was a black flag. You're spot on, Dorsey.
I figured it would be. And they talked about it in the driver's meeting. Like I said, it was a very heated discussion about this.
And now Mark Jenkins limps his truck into the pit area. Wow.
He's going to give this to Johnny Greaves. I mean, nobody's going to catch him now. All of the protagonists are either in jail or...
Is anybody going to finish? Cheney has now pulled off as well. So by my count, we've got 4 trucks still circulating.
Well, like you said, it's been a long time for Johnny Greaves. Hopefully he can bring this around 2 more laps and get this win for his Toyota. It'll be a very good day for Greaves Racing with his son CJ.
Boy, howdy. A couple of podiums for CJ, including a victory. And now here's Dad.
One for Dad, maybe.
Absolutely. And he has just checked out. He'll face the white flag next time by, and he can basically put it down in 2nd or 3rd gear or drive around.
I really like the way that he did his race, Johnny Greaves. And look at this. As you got Scott Douglas, who just got tipped over. Didn't hurt the truck any, you know.
Now he's back in 2nd, passing with Rob McCackren.
Got up on top of the tire, pulled a wheelie over that. Douglas still fuming, I'm sure. I would be. This is going to be a good run here, and it's not going to be clean, I don't think. Wags the tail right in front of McCackren. McCackren's a clean driver. He's not going to hit anybody on purpose. He doesn't have a big beef going on here.
Boy, keep in mind, it is a long season. This is just the first weekend, and the rivalries and the hurt feelings have already started.
And they all got Jimmy Spencer memories, too.
Final lap.
Oh, what happened here? Almost looked to me like he was off the racetrack. It's just the camera angle caught me off right there. Johnny Greaves
was probably distracted, looking in his mirrors, wondering where everybody is.
Yeah, that could be too.
There's nobody behind him. Off the final corner and to the line comes Johnny Greaves on a great evening for his racing family, picking up the victory in Red Bull Pro 4. 4 here at Dodge City Raceway Park. Great run to the finish for Douglas and McCachran as well. We'll be back to Dodge City, Kansas in just a moment.
If you're planning a home improvement project, remember to plan for the cleanup, because there will be debris.
Winner, Johnny Greaves climbs out, and Kelly Snyder's there.
Well, I'd say this is a night for the Greaves boys. First CJ in Pro Lite and Pro 2. Now the dad, Johnny Greaves, taking the first place finish. I think this win is long overdue, buddy.
Oh, man. You don't know what we've been through in the last couple months trying to, get back on this winning podium. And, just the whole Greaves team. There's a lot of teams that work hard, and I don't know if any of them work harder than we do, but man, we give it everything we got. We got a small crew, and we have great sponsors, and we got 100%. And I gotta follow in the kid's footsteps. When he goes out there, wins Pro Lite, comes from last in Pro 2, and gets on the podium, I got my hands full. So I'm so happy to get a win. This is a brand new truck, first weekend on the racetrack, and gotta thank them sponsors. Monster, Maxxis, Toyota, Method Wheels, a new sponsor, Magnaflow, of course, Fox Shocks, Amsoil, all these guys that make it happen. And man, I'm just glad I can finally put it back up here.
Well, guys, also taking the Oakley bomb home with the fastest lap during the race. Let's go over to Bobby.
Scott Douglas brings it home in second place. How was your run, Scott?
It was pretty wild. I mean, we got slipped up in the wet stuff at first and went back, and then we worked our way up to second, and then got rolled over by another competitor. But stuff happens. But we landed on our feet, went to the back, came all the way back up to second. So this Amsoil Borla truck is just on fire, and these BF Goodrich hooks up great. I mean, it's just fantastic. The King shocks worked really well, so we're just stoked with the whole deal. And the brand new truck, there's only the second race for it, and 2 back-to-back second places. I really couldn't be happier other than that one spot over there.
All right, congratulations. Scott Douglas gets the second. The happy winner is Johnny Greaves, and that's it from down here trackside. Let's go back up to the booth to wrap it up.
All right, thanks. Here are the results of the Red Bull Pro 4 class.
Johnny Greaves, of course, winning with his Toyota. Scott Douglas, glad to see a smile on his face after he went through. Rob Mack had a tough weekend, but he came away pretty good, too.
Wow, what a race. And that's the kind of action we expect all season long on the Traxxas Torc Off-Road Championship Trail. Our next stop will be Eldora Speedway in Ohio. Our coverage coming your way Saturday, May 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's been a great weekend. Our thanks to everybody here in Dodge City. A great place to visit. And we hope to be back here next year. Coming up next, NASCAR Victory Lane from Texas Motor Speedway.